All right, hello everyone. If you'll remember from last time, I said that we're going to be practicing solving multi-step equations using two different methods. So the first one was by combining like terms. All right, so this one is just taking an extra step. We're going to be using the distributive property. So if you remember the distributive property, it's where we take any term out here connected by the parentheses, and you remember parentheses means multiplication. So I'm going to distribute this 5 to every term inside the parentheses, correct? And when I distribute, that means I'm multiplying. So 5 times 2x gives me 10x, and 5, follow the arrow, times positive 3 is going to give me positive 15. So that is the distributive property. If you don't remember this, it's okay. It's been a while, but we have been using this for a long time. So hopefully it'll come back pretty quickly. All right, so what about this one here? Now we don't have a number coefficient here that's showing us. However, remember, if we don't have a coefficient, it's just an understood 1, right? So this would technically be negative 1 on the outside because there is that negative sign there. All right, so how would we distribute this? Well, I would take this negative 1 and I would multiply it by every term inside the parentheses. So I have negative 1 times 2x is going to give me negative 2x, right? And my next one, I have negative 1 times negative 4. So negative 1 times negative 4 is going to give me positive 4, because a negative times a negative gives me a positive. All right, now what about this problem here? Okay, I have 4x plus 3 plus 2 times 5 minus x. So since this is a parentheses here, if I followed order of operations, I would need to distribute this 2 to break these out of the parentheses, right? There's no other way I can get them out except by distributing across. So I would end up with 4x plus 3 plus, now I'm going to distribute. So 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. And then I have 2 times minus x, so negative 2x. All right. Now, I want us to look through this problem and see if we have any like terms that we can combine. Okay, so first I'm going to look for any x terms. I have a 4x. Do I have anything else in this equation with an x to the first power? So, or just an x? I do, right? I have this negative 2x. All right. I'm also looking to see, do I have any other terms that can be combined? So any terms with an x squared, or any terms without a variable. Remember, like terms just have to have the same variable. So if they don't have a variable, that is the same thing as having the same one. All right, so I can combine this 3 and this 10. All right, so let me just rewrite this in order real quick. I'd have 4x, and I'm going to combine that with this minus 2x, and then I'm going to have plus 3 plus 10. So I have 4x minus 2x. It's going to give me 2x, right? Because 4 minus 2 gives me 2. Plus, what's 3 plus 10? That's 13. So this problem simplifies to 2x plus 13. All right, so sometimes these problems that may look kind of complicated simplify down and they're pretty simple. All right, so last time we added a step. We added this combine like term step. Now we're going to add an extra step. So we're going to distribute first, combine like terms, and then get rid of the attached plus or minus, and then solve by multiplication or division. So let's go ahead and look at this first problem here. All right, first I have to distribute. I need to get this y by itself, right? But how can I get it out of these parentheses where I can move it around? The only way is to distribute. So I'm going to distribute this on the outside. Okay, so 2 times 3 gives me 6. 2 times 4y gives me positive 8y. And I'm left with 14 on this side. All right, now I'm looking, can I combine like terms? Do I have any other y terms over here that I can connect this with? No, I don't. Do I have any other terms without a variable over here I can combine? I do not. So what I'm going to have to do is move on to step 3. So I'm going to get rid of anything attached by addition or subtraction, because they're easier to get rid of first, right? So I have this plus sign here, so this 6 is attached by addition. All right, and this is a positive 6, right? Even though there's no sign in front of it, I can assume that it's positive. So what is the opposite of addition? That's subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 6 on this side. Whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other. So those will cancel out to 0. I have 8y equals 14 minus 6 is 8. All right, and now these are being multiplied, so I'm going to divide both sides by 8 to get rid of that 8 over here. So y equals 8 divided by 8 is 1. All right, so really we're just adding in another step. Now in that example, we didn't have to combine any like terms. In the future, more than likely, we're going to have to combine some like terms. So I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. All right, let's try number 2. We have 2 times 5x minus 3 equals 14. All right, so in order to get this x out of the parentheses, I've got to distribute to free this stuff inside the parentheses. So 2 times 5x is 10x, and then 2 times negative 3 is going to give me negative 6. Don't forget those negative signs. Those are very important, okay? And I have equals 14 left. So 10x minus 6 equals 14. All right, next step, combine like terms. So I got to check. Do I have any other x terms? No. Do I have any other variable less terms on this side? No, I don't. All right, so third, I'm going to get rid of anything attached by addition or subtraction. This is being subtracted here, this number is, so I'm going to add it. All right, and negative 6 plus 6 gives me 0. So 10x equals 14 plus 6 is 20. All right, so 10x is the same as 10 times x, right? Those are being multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10, by this number attached to the variable. And hopefully these things are becoming a little more normal to you, so it's not seeming, you know, hopefully it's getting a little easier, a little smoother. But if not, that's totally fine. Well, like I said, you'll be working on this stuff for years and years. So I'm left with x on this side, and 20 divided by 10 is 2. And as always, if you wanted to plug in, you could always plug in up here. You could plug in here. It really doesn't matter which one you plug into. Okay? Let's try this last example here. So remember, first we have to break that y out of the parentheses, right? So this y is stuck in parentheses here. How on earth am I going to simplify this equation? All right, so I need to get all my y's together. So in order to do that, I've got to break this y out of the parentheses. How do I do that? By distribution. All right, let's move along. So I have 38 equals, now I'm distributing, negative 3 times 4y. It's that's negative 12y. And then I have negative 3 plus 2. It's going to give me negative 1. No, I'm sorry, that was wrong. I'm multiplying, not adding. So negative 3 times positive 2 is going to give me negative 6. Okay? And so that was everything inside the parentheses. And on the outside, I still have a plus y here. Alright, so now I'm looking to see, second step, combine like terms. So do I have any terms with the same variable in this equation? I do, right? I have this negative 12y here, and I also have a positive y. Those are both y terms, right? Okay. So I can combine those. So I have 38 equals, I'll just write them together real quick. Negative 12y plus y minus 6. So I just wrote those together. That's going to become negative 12y plus y is going to give me negative 11y. And then I'm left with minus 6 over here, right? Sorry, it's getting a little messy over here. And I have minus 6 right there. Alright, so remember my third step. I combined all my like terms. Now I need to get rid of anything attached by addition or subtraction. So even though this has a minus sign in front, we need to notice that these are being multiplied here, right? Because it's directly attached to the y. So we're looking for something that's loosely attached, like this minus 6 here. It's just kind of hanging out beside it, right? So I need to move that over in order to work on getting y by itself. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. And I have to do that to both sides. So that will cancel because that becomes 0. 38 plus 6, that's going to give me 44 equals negative 11y. Sorry, I'm having issues with it going in and out of focus. So if this comes out blurry or anything, please let me know and I'll try to clarify anything that we missed. Alright, so now I look and I'm trying to get y by itself, right? That's my main goal. So what is happening between this 11 and this y? They're being what? They're being multiplied, right? So what's the opposite of multiplication? How do I undo multiplication? I divide, right? Now I'm going to divide by negative 11y because I want to get rid of everything that's attached to that y there. So negative 11 is what I divide by. And I have to do that on both sides, correct? So negative 11 divided by negative 11, it's just going to become 1. So y equals 44 divided by negative 11 is going to give me negative, right? Because positive divided by negative gives me negative. And 44 divided by 11, it's going to give me negative 4 there. Alright, so my answer is y equals negative 4. But that way is perfectly fine if you write it with the y on the right side, either way. And if you would like, you can always plug this in here, or you could plug it in after you distributed, or you could even plug it in here when you combine like terms. So wherever there's a y to plug in, you can plug in your answer to check your work. Alright? So in these examples, the only difference in what we've been doing in this is that first we have to distribute to break that y out of the parentheses. Then we combine our like terms, if we have any. Then we can solve these two-step equations. Alright? I hope this video helps. Like I said, this is going to be very good practice for Algebra 1 and things next year. But I hope you guys are having a great week. And if I can help you with anything, please let me know.